The Bus Driver's Ghost Story. A true horror story from the mountain roads of Taiwan. I still can't forget the sound I heard that night. On that silent road. In the dark. It was a human voice. But it was not human. My name is Chen Jien-ming. I'm 52 years old. For over 20 years, I drove the intercity bus, running from Taitung City to Hualien, crossing the rugged mountain roads of Eastern Taiwan. That night, just like any other, I was on the last run of the day. 10:30 p.m. Taitung Bus Terminal. I pulled out of the station and headed north, through Chongban, past the coastal cliffs, toward Hualien, a route I knew with my eyes closed. There were only 6 passengers on board. A young couple in the back, sharing earphones in silence. An elderly couple in the middle seats, leaning into each other. A man slumped near the front, his chin resting on his chest, asleep. And at the very last row, a woman, alone. She wore a black padded jacket and a white face mask. Sitting by the window, her face was hard to see. But from the moment we departed, something about her unsettled me. When I said, "Tickets, please," she didn't speak. She only turned her head, slowly, and nodded, like a machine. About 30 minutes into the journey, there were no other vehicles on the road. The winter mountain pass through eastern Taiwan was unusually still. Several stretches had broken street lamps, leaving us swallowed by darkness. I glanced at the rearview mirror. A habit of 20 years. Most passengers were dozing, but the woman at the back, she wasn't visible. Wait, my hand nearly slipped from the brake. Her seat was still there. The black jacket, the white mask, all in place. But there was no shadow beneath her. In the dim cabin light, every seat cast a faint shadow across the floor. Except hers. It must be the angle of the light, I told myself. Don't let ghost stories get to your head. You can't drive like this. Then I heard it. "Uncle," someone whispered from the back. Low, like they knew my name. Uncle Jien-ming. I checked the mirror. Nobody was looking at me. The couple was asleep. The elderly pair leaned on each other. But the woman, her face had tilted upward, toward the window, it seemed. Except her eyes weren't focused on anything outside. Her pupils were gone. Her eyes had turned completely white. I turned the radio up. Cold weather advisory for Taitung County. Wind chill expected to drop to -4 degrees Celsius. Black ice warning near the Zhiben Tunnel. The Zhiben Tunnel. A chill shot through my spine. That tunnel was the stretch I hated most. Years ago, a rumor had spread among the drivers that a family had died in a crash there. After that, some of us said we heard a woman's voice inside the tunnel at night. I didn't believe in superstitions, but I always drove carefully through that section. 1 kilometer before the tunnel entrance, the windshield fogged over. From the inside, the heater was off. It looked like someone had breathed on the glass. I turned on the wipers and stared ahead. Then the radio died. Complete silence. And through that silence, I heard footsteps. Talk, talk, talk. Someone was walking slowly down the aisle of the bus. My heart hammered. I almost looked in the mirror, then stopped. My instincts screamed at me, "Don't look." But humans always make their worst decisions at the worst possible moment. I looked. At the end of the bus, the woman was standing, not rising from her seat. She was already standing, 1 foot on the armrest of a seat. Her body tilted forward, and slowly, impossibly slowly, she turned her head toward me. "Uncle." The voice again, right in my ear. I slammed the brakes. The bus screamed to a halt. Passengers lurched awake. "Driver, what happened?" Quote, "Is everything okay?" Quote, I turned around. The woman was gone. "Sorry. I thought an animal jumped into the road." I forced a smile and lied. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. When I restarted the engine, I noticed something on the windshield. A handprint. Small, like a child's hand. It slowly faded from the inside, dissolving into nothing. The next morning at the depot in Taitung City, the maintenance worker stopped me with a strange look. "Mr. Chen, where exactly did you drive last night?" Quote, "What do you mean?" Quote, "There's mud on the roof. And the back door. Dozens of handprints. All over it." The words hit me like ice water. That's when I remembered the accident report. Years ago, a bus on this same route had skidded off the road in a rainstorm. Near the Zhiben Tunnel, it had rolled. A mother and her child were on board. I had been driving that same numbered bus for days. I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her, standing at the back of the bus, head tilting toward me, her white eyes staring through the dark. Even with my ears covered, I heard the whisper, "Uncle Jien-ming." What haunted me more than anything was this. I had never told a single passenger my name. How did she know? I wanted to quit the route. But a week later, the company assigned me back. Understaffed, they said. I gripped the wheel with cold hands. 10:30 p.m. Taitung Terminal. 6 passengers again. I skimmed the boarding list. The last name caught my eye. Lin Shu-hua. Disembarking at Zhiben. I stopped breathing. That name. I had seen it in the accident report years ago. Victim. Lin Shu-hua. Female. Aged 35. Passenger. Daughter. Lin Xiaoyun. Aged 7. It couldn't be. I shook my head and pressed the departure button. 20 minutes into the ride, I checked the rearview mirror. She was there. Same black jacket. Same white mask. Sitting by the window in the last row. Unmoving. Her shadow was absent. I watched the tunnel entrance approach through the fog. She slowly raised her head. Behind the mask. Barely audible. A breath. And then her lips began to move. "Don't go in there." The radio cut out. Silence swallowed the cabin. "Driver, why are we slowing down?" Quote, I couldn't answer. Because the instrument panel had lit up with a warning. "Passenger door. Open." But the door was closed. Completely. And locked. Then something struck the left side window. A white hand. Small. A child's hand. And behind it, a face. A child's face. No pupils. Entirely white. I grabbed for the door lock. But it was already opening on its own. Slowly. Grinding. Mechanical. "Close. Please. Close." Quote, I hammered the button. Nothing. Then the woman rose from her seat. And began walking up the aisle toward me. 1 step. 2 steps. With every footfall, the engine seemed to go quieter. "Don't go in." She spoke again. "If you enter the tunnel, you won't come out." Then every passenger lifted their head in unison. And looked at me. Their eyes had all turned white. My heart nearly stopped. I jammed the accelerator. The bus roared. And plunged into the tunnel. Inside, there was only darkness. No lights. No reflectors. No matter how far I drove, the end of the tunnel wouldn't come. The same wall. The same signs. Repeating endlessly. This tunnel is less than 700 meters. I pressed the brakes. Nothing. The steering wheel shook violently. The gauges on the dashboard scrambled. Fuel. Speed. All spinning uselessly. I need to get out. I have to get out. I floored the accelerator. Still. No end in sight. The walls seemed to be closing in. As if the bus were being swallowed by something massive and dark. Then from behind me, "Uncle, why are you running?" Quote, I looked in the mirror. The passengers were gone. The woman was gone. Only strange traces remained on the seats. Mud, handprints, and drops of cold water. And a smell. Wet soil. Mixed with something rotting. I tried to pull over. The bus wouldn't stop. The gears locked forward. The windshield fogged up completely. And someone wrote in it with a finger, "Don't stop." I held the wheel with everything I had. Then the radio came back on. Not the announcer's voice. An old recording. Crackling. Distorted. And then, a familiar voice. "Honey, I might be late tonight. Last run. It's snowing a little. Don't worry. I'll be home soon." It was my own voice. A call I made years ago. Hours before the accident. The road from Taitung to Hualien. Snow was falling. The tape cut off. Silence. My hands trembled. This was not a dream. I was inside that night. Inside that bus. Again. Jien-ming. The woman's voice. I turned around. She stood at the end of the aisle. Holding the child. Her face was now fully visible. Streaked with mud and blood. Her eyes still white. But her expression was not terrifying. It was grief. "Why," she said softly. "Are you still here?" Quote, "It's already over." "Over?" I gasped. "What do you mean? I'm on a run right now." Quote, she shook her head. That night, the bus slid near the tunnel entrance. It rolled toward the driver's side. There was a fire. She paused. "You were with us, Uncle. We were all there together." The door in my memory broke open. Flashes. Lightning fast. That night's road. Sudden snow. The moment before entering the tunnel. Something crossing the highway. I yanked the wheel to avoid it. The bus rolled. Inside, I heard screaming. Through the flames. The woman had wrapped herself around the child. That woman was Lin Shu-hua. Reality collapsed. The bus I had been driving. It no longer existed. It was an echo. A ghost road built from 20 years of memory and guilt. She came closer. "Let go," she said gently. "You keep running. So we're all still stuck here." I released the wheel. The bus slowed on its own. The tunnel walls grew lighter. Somewhere, somehow, sunlight began to filter through. "It's all right now, Uncle," she said. "This road, it's over." And she was gone. The child too. Every trace. Erased. When I opened my eyes, I was sitting in the middle of the road. In front of me, the charred wreck of a bus. A memorial sign stood nearby, weathered and trembling in the wind. This site commemorates the victims of the Zhiben Tunnel accident. January 14, 2018. I stared at the sign for a long time. Then I turned around. On the hillside above, a woman in a black jacket stood watching me. She was smiling. She waved. And for the first time, I felt something lift from my chest. People believe I died in that crash. The news reported it. All passengers and the driver perished. When the intercity bus from Taitung skidded in heavy snowfall and overturned, my name was in the paper. Chen Jien-ming, 52, intercity bus driver. One sentence. My whole life ended. But I'm still here. I breathe. I walk. I think. I simply cannot be seen. After the accident, I wandered for months near the Taitung depot. There was an old bus parked in the scrapyard. Bus route number 23. The one I drove. Its windows were smashed. Scorch marks still darkened the frame. But every night, the radio inside played. No battery. No power. Yet the song drifted out. Faint and clear. Love and farewell. All shall pass. A melody I had heard 1,000 times. On overnight runs. And after every song, the same words appeared. On the fogged glass inside the bus. "We're okay now." Each time I read those words, I closed my eyes. And somehow, the knot in my chest loosened. After that, I stopped riding buses. But my feet always carried me back. To that road. Taitung toward Zhiben. The quiet mountain pass at night. At the tunnel entrance, a small memorial stone had been placed. Someone always left white chrysanthemums. Probably surviving family. One day I found something beside the flowers. A child's drawing. A bus. Done in colored pencil. Two people standing beside it. Smiling. Holding hands near the door. And in the corner, in small uneven letters, Mr. Chen, Mama, and me. I stood there for a long time. My eyes blurred. Inside the bus window in the drawing, 3 people were smiling. One of them was unmistakably me. One evening near the tunnel, a young man stood beside me. Work clothes. A cigarette in his hand. You come here often? He asked. I nodded after a pause. He lit his lighter and looked at the tunnel entrance. Strange thing. Sometimes when I walk past after a late shift, I think I see bus headlights inside the tunnel. But no bus ever comes out. He paused. My mother and sister died in the accident here. When I was little, I couldn't move. His eyes were calm, but there was something deep and still inside them. I keep having this dream, he said, where an older man drives a bus toward me and waves. He put out his cigarette. I don't know why, but every time I have that dream, I wake up feeling at peace. He turned and walked away. His silhouette looked familiar, in a way I couldn't name. At the tunnel entrance, a faint light blinked, like a headlight, flickering on, then off. The afterimage of that night, still burning softly in the dark. I think about fear differently now. What is truly frightening is not the ghost. It is the human heart that turns away from truth. Fear is the longing we leave inside ourselves. And that longing, in the end, is what locks us in the dark. But even in the dark, someone always leaves a light behind. Like she said, it's all right now. I walk that road still, one step at a time. And at the end of it, every time, a faint headlight comes on. That, I think, is the direction I am meant to go. If this story stayed with you, like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. What do you think Chen Jien-ming should have done differently?